What if I told you that the government, big corporations, and even some doctors spent decades trying to convince your grandma she was wrong? That the plain bottle of white vinegar she kept under the kitchen sink was somehow outdated, unreliable, even irresponsible? Well, science just caught up with Grandma, and the verdict is in: she was a genius. Today, we are counting down 25 vinegar hacks from the 1950s and 60s that were literally banned, dismissed, or laughed at by the establishment, and that are now being called some of the most effective household solutions ever documented. Stay until the end, because number 1 is going to completely change how you think about that gallon jug sitting under your kitchen sink. Number 25, the cutting board sanitizer. Grandma would pour undiluted white vinegar directly onto her wooden cutting board after preparing meat. Let it sit 5 minutes, then wipe it clean. Health departments pushed bleach-based sanitizers as the only legitimate option, but undiluted vinegar at 5% acetic acid kills 99.9% of bacteria, including E. coli and Salmonella. The acetic acid penetrates cell membranes and disrupts their chemistry. Pour it on, wait 5 minutes, wipe clean. It costs about 2 cents per application and leaves no toxic residue on your food. Number 24, the window and glass cleaner. She mixed equal parts white vinegar and water in a spray bottle and wiped her windows with crumpled newspaper until they were streak-free. Glass cleaner manufacturers dismissed this as a folk remedy that could not possibly match their ammonia-based formulas. The acetic acid in vinegar dissolves mineral deposits and hard water stains on glass surfaces without leaving the film that many commercial cleaners ironically create. The newspaper works because the ink polishes the glass while the dense fibers leave no lint. A single spray bottle of this mixture costs about 8 cents to make. The average commercial glass cleaner costs between $4 and $6. Number 23, the meat tenderizer. Tough cuts of beef and pork would get marinated in vinegar, water, and whatever herbs were on hand. About a 1/4 cup of white vinegar per pound of meat, soaked overnight in the refrigerator. The meat industry pushed commercial tenderizing powders and enzymes as the modern solution. But vinegar's acetic acid breaks down tough collagen fibers and connective tissue proteins through acid denaturation. The result is meat that is noticeably more tender without chemical additives. Chinese and Filipino cooks have used vinegar marinades this way for as long as anyone can remember. It costs a fraction of a penny per serving. Number 22, the pet odor eliminator. When the dog had an accident on the carpet or the cat marked a corner of the house, Grandma did not reach for a specialized pet stain product. She mixed 1 part white vinegar with 1 part water, saturated the spot, and let it dry. Pet product companies built an entire market around enzymatic cleaners, but vinegar's acetic acid neutralizes the alkaline salts in dried urine that cause the persistent ammonia smell. It does not just mask the odor, it chemically transforms the compounds causing it. For set-in stains, soak the area thoroughly, let it sit for 30 minutes, then blot dry. The vinegar smell dissipates within a few hours, taking the pet odor with it. Number 21, the food preservation booster. A splash of vinegar got added to the canning liquid when preserving vegetables, and this was not just habit. It was applied chemistry. A tablespoon of white vinegar per quart of water lowers the pH of canning liquid just enough to stop the growth of Clostridium botulinum, the bacterium that causes botulism. Food safety officials pushed commercially processed canned goods as safer, and vinegar-based preservation was treated as unreliable. But maintaining a pH below 4.6 is now the gold standard for safe preservation, and vinegar reliably achieves this. It is now actually recommended when canning low-acid foods at home for exactly the reason she already knew. Number 20, the laundry brightener. Instead of reaching for chlorine bleach, Grandma would add 1 cup of white vinegar to the rinse cycle of every load. Bleach manufacturers marketed their products as the only way to get truly white whites. Vinegar's mild acid breaks down detergent residue and mineral deposits trapped in fabric fibers that make whites look dull over time. By stripping that invisible buildup, vinegar restores the original brightness of the fabric without damaging the fibers the way chlorine does. It also softens water, which means your detergent works better. 1 cup per load in the rinse cycle. Your clothes come out brighter, softer, and without a trace of vinegar smell once they dry. Number 19, the grout cleaner. Mix equal parts white vinegar and warm water in a spray bottle. Spray it directly onto grout, let it sit 10 to 15 minutes, then scrub with an old toothbrush and rinse. Tile and grout cleaning companies pushed specialized chemical products throughout the 1960s and 70s. The acetic acid dissolves calcium deposits that cause discoloration while killing mold embedded in the porous surface. For heavy buildup, spray undiluted vinegar, let it sit 30 minutes, and follow with a baking soda paste. This combination outperforms many commercial grout cleaners and costs virtually nothing. Number 18, the ant deterrent. Grandma would wipe down her countertops, windowsills, and door frames with undiluted white vinegar during ant season. Pest control companies pushed chemical sprays and poisonous bait traps as the only effective solution. Ants navigate by following pheromone trails left by scout ants, and vinegar's strong acetic acid completely destroys those chemical trail markers on contact. When the trail disappears, the ants lose their map to your kitchen. It does not kill them, but it scrambles their communication system so effectively that they move on. Wipe high-traffic ant areas with undiluted vinegar once a day during peak season, and you will notice a dramatic reduction within 48 hours. No poison, no traps, no risk to children or pets. Number 17, the drain unclogger. When the kitchen sink started draining slowly, the fix was simple. Pour half a cup of baking soda down the drain, followed by 1 cup of heated white vinegar, and let the fizzing reaction work for about 30 minutes before flushing with boiling water. Plumbing product companies pushed chemical drain cleaners containing sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid as the only legitimate solution. The vigorous chemical reaction between vinegar and baking soda produces carbon dioxide gas, which builds pressure inside the pipe and physically forces grease and organic buildup loose from the pipe walls. While this method works best on partial clogs and regular maintenance rather than complete blockages, it keeps drains running freely without the corrosive chemicals that can damage older pipes over time. Number 16, the deodorant stain remover. Those yellow armpit stains on white shirts that seemed impossible to remove had a simple enemy. Soak the stained area in undiluted white vinegar for 30 minutes before laundering as normal. Laundry product companies pushed specialized stain removers and oxygen-based treatments for these stubborn marks. The yellow discoloration is actually caused by a chemical reaction between the aluminum compounds in antiperspirant and the proteins in your sweat. Vinegar's acetic acid breaks apart that aluminum protein bond, releasing the stain from the fabric fibers. Apply undiluted vinegar, let it soak for at least 30 minutes, and wash in the warmest water the fabric allows. This still works better than most commercial stain treatments available today. Number 15, the hardwood floor cleaner. The floors got mopped with a solution of half a cup of white vinegar and 1 gallon of warm water. Floor care product companies dismissed this as damaging and pushed wax-based and polymer-based floor cleaners as the only safe option for wood surfaces. The reality is that diluted vinegar at this ratio effectively removes dirt, grime, and sticky residue without leaving the waxy buildup that commercial floor cleaners deposit over time. That buildup is actually what makes hardwood floors look dull and streaky, not the dirt. The mild acid cuts through the buildup and lets the natural wood grain shine through. The key is proper dilution. Never use undiluted vinegar on wood. Half a cup per gallon is the sweet spot. Wring your mop almost dry and let the floor air dry completely. Number 14, the produce wash. Fruits and vegetables got soaked in a diluted vinegar bath before cooking. 1 part white vinegar to 3 parts water in a large bowl. Submerge your produce for 10 to 15 minutes, then rinse thoroughly under running water. Grocery chains and produce industry groups pushed the idea that store-bought produce was already clean enough and that home washing was unnecessary. But it turns out a vinegar wash removes up to 98% of surface bacteria from fruits and vegetables according to food safety testing. A diluted vinegar soak also strips away far more pesticide residue than plain water rinsing alone. $2 worth of vinegar lasts months of produce washing. Before we move on, if you are enjoying this countdown, a like and a subscribe truly helps us continue making these videos. We really appreciate it. Number 13, the coffee maker cleaner. Every month or so, Grandma would run a full cycle of equal parts white vinegar and water through her coffee percolator, followed by 2 cycles of plain water to rinse. Coffee maker manufacturers and specialized descaling product companies pushed their own branded cleaning solutions at premium prices. Vinegar's acetic acid dissolves the calcium carbonate deposits that build up inside coffee makers from hard water. These mineral deposits restrict water flow, increase brewing time, and make your coffee taste bitter and flat. The vinegar cycle strips all of that away and restores the machine to near-new performance. A single descaling treatment using vinegar costs less than a dime. Commercial descaling solutions typically run $5 to $8 per use. Number 12, the shower head descaler. When the shower pressure started dropping, Grandma did not call a plumber. She filled a plastic bag with undiluted white vinegar, tied it around the shower head so the nozzle was fully submerged, and left it overnight. By morning, the mineral deposits that had been clogging the spray holes were completely dissolved. Plumbing fixture companies promoted their own descaling products and, in some cases, recommended replacing the entire shower head. The acetic acid dissolves calcium and lime buildup on contact, and the overnight soak gives it enough time to penetrate deep into the tiny spray holes. Remove the bag, run hot water for a minute, and your water pressure is restored. This takes 30 seconds of actual effort and costs about 15 cents worth of vinegar. Number 11, the garbage disposal freshener. White vinegar would get frozen into ice cube trays, then a handful of vinegar ice cubes run through the disposal while it was running. The grinding action and cold vinegar cleaned the blades, loosened stuck food particles, and neutralized odors all at once. Kitchen cleaning product companies sold specialized disposal tablets and citrus-scented pods for this. The freezing process concentrates the acetic acid at the surface of each cube, so when the blades grind them, a burst of cleaning acid hits every surface inside the chamber. Make a tray once a week and run them through. Your disposal stays clean and odor-free without specialized products. Number 10, the fruit fly trap. Pour about half an inch of apple cider vinegar into a small jar, add 1 drop of dish soap, and set it on the kitchen counter during fruit fly season. Pest control companies sold sticky traps, electric zappers, and chemical sprays for this problem. Fruit flies are irresistibly attracted to the fermentation compounds in apple cider vinegar. The single drop of dish soap breaks the surface tension of the liquid so that when the flies land, they sink instead of standing on top. A single jar can catch dozens of fruit flies overnight. This method consistently outperforms commercial fruit fly traps and costs essentially nothing. Number 9, the sunburn soother. When someone came in from the sun with pink, tender skin, Grandma would soak a cloth in equal parts white vinegar and cool water, then lay it across the burned area for 15 to 20 minutes. Sun care companies were building their empire in the 1960s, pushing aloe vera gels and specialized after-sun lotions. The acetic acid in diluted vinegar restores the skin's natural pH balance, which sunburn disrupts. This pH correction reduces inflammation and stinging almost immediately. The cool compress provides additional temperature relief. This should never be applied to blistered or severely burned skin, but for ordinary sunburn, it provides faster relief than most people expect. Number 8, the natural weed killer. Undiluted white vinegar poured directly onto weeds growing between sidewalk cracks, along fence lines, and in gravel driveways. Chemical herbicide companies pushed synthetic weed killers as the only effective approach. Horticultural vinegar at 20% acetic acid concentration kills weeds by stripping the waxy coating from their leaves, causing them to dehydrate rapidly. Even standard household vinegar at 5% is effective on young, small weeds when applied on a hot, sunny day. Research has shown vinegar-based weed control to be as effective as synthetic glyphosate products on annual weeds. Pour it on a sunny afternoon, and the weeds are brown and dead within 24 hours. No chemicals leaching into your soil or groundwater. Number 7, the hair clarifying rinse. After shampooing, pour a mixture of 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in 1 cup of cool water over her hair as a final rinse. Hair care product companies in the 1960s and 70s were aggressively marketing conditioners and clarifying shampoos as the only solutions for dull, lifeless hair. The mild acid in vinegar closes the hair cuticle, which is the outer protective layer of each hair strand. When the cuticle lies flat, hair reflects more light and looks noticeably shinier. The vinegar also removes the buildup of styling products and hard water minerals that weigh hair down. The rinse makes hair softer and more manageable, and the vinegar smell disappears completely once hair dries. Stylists today acknowledge this as one of the most effective and cheapest hair treatments you can do at home. Number 6, the wart remover. Soak a small piece of cotton ball in apple cider vinegar, press it against the wart, and tape it in place overnight. Do this every night until the wart turns dark and falls off, usually within 2 to 3 weeks. Dermatology clinics and pharmaceutical companies pushed cryotherapy and salicylic acid products as the only legitimate approaches. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar destroys the infected tissue by slowly breaking down the skin cells harboring the virus. This method has been used for as long as anyone can remember and continues to be reported as effective. The mechanism is the same principle behind commercial wart treatments, just at a lower concentration over a longer period. Number 5, the natural fabric softener. Instead of buying commercial fabric softener, half a cup of white vinegar went into the rinse cycle of every load. Fabric softener companies built a multi-billion-dollar industry around the idea that you needed their product for soft, static-free laundry. Vinegar works by dissolving the alkaline residue that detergent leaves behind in fabric fibers. That residue is what makes clothes feel stiff and scratchy. By stripping it away, vinegar leaves fabrics naturally soft without the waxy chemical layer that commercial softeners deposit. Those softeners contain compounds that reduce fabric absorbency over time, which is why your towels eventually stop drying you off. Vinegar does not do that. Half a cup per load, your towels stay absorbent, your clothes stay soft, and there is zero chemical residue against your skin. Number 4, the laundry mildew smell eliminator. When towels or clothes develop that musty, mildewy smell that no amount of regular washing could remove, the trick was to soak them in a bucket of hot water with 2 cups of white vinegar for an hour before running them through the machine. Detergent and fabric care companies pushed the idea that their specialized products were the only solution for embedded odors. Mildew smell comes from mold spore colonies that embed themselves deep in the textile fibers where ordinary detergent cannot reach. Vinegar's acetic acid penetrates those fibers, kills the mold at a cellular level, and neutralizes the organic compounds causing the smell. This works where standard detergent fails because detergent washes surface soil away but does not kill mold. Soak the affected items for a full hour in the hottest water the fabric can handle, then launder as normal. The mildew smell is gone permanently. Number 3, the sore throat gargle. At the first sign of a scratchy throat, the remedy was 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of warm water, gargled for 30 seconds, 2 or 3 times a day. Pharmaceutical companies were flooding the market with lozenges, sprays, and medicated gargles. The acidic environment created by vinegar is inhospitable to many bacteria that cause throat infections. The gargling action flushes bacteria and debris from the throat lining, while the acetic acid creates a hostile pH on the mucous membranes. This is not a cure for strep throat, and I am not a doctor. But for early-stage scratchy discomfort, it provides genuine relief used across cultures for centuries. Some ENT specialists still recommend diluted vinegar gargles for minor throat irritation. Number 2, the blood sugar balancer. This one is remarkable. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in a glass of water, taken before meals, especially heavy carbohydrate-rich dinners. For years, this was dismissed as wishful thinking. Then controlled studies showed that vinegar before a high-carb meal reduced blood sugar spikes by as much as 34% in certain individuals. The acetic acid slows the digestion of starch, reducing the rate at which glucose enters the bloodstream. Now, I am not a doctor, and this is not medical advice, but the fact that what was once dismissed is now taken seriously by the medical community is genuinely something. She did not call it glycemic management, she just said it helped her feel better after a big meal. Number 1, the all-purpose household spray that replaced a cabinet full of products. The hack that drove the cleaning product industry absolutely wild. One spray bottle of diluted white vinegar sat on the counter and got used for everything we have discussed today and more. Surface disinfection, window cleaning, produce washing, deodorizing, laundry treatment, floor cleaning, desk scaling, pest control. One bottle handled dozens of tasks the modern household now uses 15 to 20 separate products to address. The cleaning industry built its expansion strategy around convincing every household that every surface, every stain, every odor required its own specialized product. They succeeded spectacularly. The average American home today contains 25 to 40 cleaning products under the sink. She had one, and it worked. Here is the thing. She was not practicing folk medicine or using outdated shortcuts. She was practicing applied chemistry long before the marketing departments of major corporations convinced everyone that simple, affordable, time-tested solutions were somehow not good enough. She understood that acetic acid killed bacteria, dissolved mineral deposits, neutralized odors, and cleaned surfaces. She did not need a laboratory to confirm what observation and experience had already shown her. The next time someone tells you that something simple and cheap cannot possibly work because it does not come in a specialized bottle with a clinical-sounding name, remember this countdown. Remember the cutting board sanitized for 2 cents, the laundry brightened without bleach, the warts removed without a clinic, and the blood sugar managed with a tablespoon before dinner. That gallon jug cost almost nothing, and it turns out it was worth everything. If this video opened your eyes or saved you money, hit that like button right now, because this kind of content takes serious work, and every like tells the algorithm that real, useful knowledge deserves to be seen. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of content, because we are just getting started. And drop in the comments below. Which of these vinegar hacks are you trying first? I want to know. See you in the next one.